Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your biology class. And for today, our topic is the flower. So, without wasting our time, let's begin with our topic. A flower is a reproductive part of a plant. It is attached to the stem by a stalk called pedicel. The tip of the pedicel is swollen and called thalamus. It has four parts: sepals, petals, stamens, and pistil. Their scientific names are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Calyx is the outermost wall of a flower. It is made up of sepals, which are 4 to 5 in number, and all are green in color. They protect the inner parts of the flower during the bud stage. Corolla is the second inner wall of a flower made up of petals. Petals are white or colored attractive part of a flower. When the flower opens, the brightly colored petals attract insects or birds for pollination. The petals of some flowers have a natural fragrance. Androecium is the third inner wall of a flower. It lies inner to the petals and made up of stamens. There are generally 4 to 5 stamens in a flower. Stamens are male reproductive parts of a flower. Each stamen has a filament and an anther. The anther contain pollen sacs, and the pollen sacs are filled with pollen grains. Pollen grains look like a yellow powdery substance. They contain male gametes. Gynoecium is the fourth and innermost wall made up of pistil. Pistil is the female reproductive part of a flower, consists of ovary, style, and stigma. The top part of pistil is called stigma. It is thick and rough, and it receives the pollen grains during pollination. The middle part of the pistil is the style, and it connects the stigma to the ovary. The swollen base of the pistil is ovary, which contain tiny structures called ovules. These ovules contain female reproductive cells called female gametes. Moving on further to the pollination, the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Pollination is of two types: self-pollination and cross-pollination. When pollen grains are transferred from the anther of a flower to the stigma of same flower or of another flower born on the same plant, it is called self-pollination. An example is pollination in pea flower. When pollen grains are transferred from the anther of a flower of one plant to the stigma of a flower of another plant of same kind, it is called cross-pollination. An example for this is sunflower and rose. Some external agents are always needed to transfer pollen grains in case of cross-pollination. Agents of pollination are insects, wind, and water. Insects like honeybee, butterfly feed on the nectar of some flower. When they sit on these flowers, the pollen grains get stick to their bodies. When these insects sit on another flower, the pollen grains fall on the stigma of that flower, causing pollination. This is called insect pollination, and its example is rose, dahlia, and marigold. While some flowers produces dry pollen grains in large quantities, when these pollen grains mature, the anther break and pollen grains are released. The pollen grains blow away with the wind. In this way, they are transferred from one flower to another, and this is called wind pollination. Maize, palm, wheat, grass, and rice show wind pollination. While in case of plants which are submerged in water, they has male and female flower on different plants. The female flower have long stalk, the male flower have short stalks and are submerged. The mature male flower detaches from the parent plant. It moves with the water current and come in contact with the female flower. The anther burst open and the pollen grain fall on the stigma. This is called water pollination. Hydrilla is an example of water pollinated plant. Pollination is followed by fertilization. The fusion of male gamete with the female gamete to produce zygote is called fertilization. So in this video we studied about different parts of the flower and also pollination and fertilization. I hope all these things are going to help you to understand the concepts. Thank you.